Where are we going this week?
Well, let's see.
Well, just like always, it's kind of like two places we hang out. Either in the Orient or in Europe. Well, this week we're going back to Germany! Carl Zeiss! That's right, but not Carl Zeiss Jena. Or Jena. No. This is Carl Zeiss, West Germany. Oberkochen. Because today we're going to look at the Zeiss Contax Yashica. Contax Yashica, we've heard of that before, right? It's the 85mm 1.4. Is it any good? Yeah, it's pretty good. Well, why don't we find out together, right? So get yourself something to eat or drink, get yourself comfortable. And let's get it on.
Here I am, Vietnam. Rain is always coming down.
This is Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. That's right, Aunt Dylan. Wow, we just got back home from preschool.
What's the matter?
I have a headache.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
Not that I worked there, but picked up Dylan from preschool. And here we are in Vietnam in the rainy season. It's pretty much like half the year. So it always rains this time of day. And of course, it rained on the way home. So Dylan's got a bit of a wet hairdo going on. And he's actually getting used to it now. He used to cry in the rain. Oh, I hate the rain, I hate the rain. But now he's cool with it, right? Well, just as the intro said, this week we are back to West Germany, Oberkochen, where they produced what today's topic is about, which is the Zeiss Planar 85mm 1.4. And it's of the Contax Yashica mount generation. Is it any good or not? Yeah, Dylan thinks so. I think so too. It's not bad. Definitely not bad. So, that's what we'll be talking about this week. It's on my Sony A7R II. Just waiting to be used and show you what it can do. So, anyway, before we jump into the actual lens itself, let's talk about where it came from. Well, you know, there was a couple episodes ago we talked about the kind of like the death of Zeiss. You know, how they're getting into cine lenses and all our lovely consumer stuff is out the window. So that pretty much leaves us with the leftovers. So you could use, you know, obviously contemporary glass, you know, other autofocus stuff and whatnot, or things made for by Cosina, which is licensed to build Zeiss lenses, and they're all manual focus. They produce some pretty good M mount for Leica cameras, even though I don't have any for them, but I do have some of Cosina's Voigtlander for my Leica lenses, and they're pretty good. So Cosina does a fairly good job at producing these lenses. But anyway, what we're looking at today is a vintage lens. Now this particular one here that I have was produced between 1974, well, that's when it was launched, 1974, mostly produced in 75 up through the mid-80s or so. 1983, Yashica was bought out by Kyocera, or Kyocera. I have no idea how to say that.
Over-the-top rendition of the Japanese accent.
But anyway, they decided to produce their own glass and their own cameras and everything else, so they stopped, you know, producing these ones. So anyway, so it had a good decade, pretty much, of heyday out there in the day. Now, why am I even talking about Yashica, or Kyocera, or Zero-Kara, or whoever? Well, Japanese companies, right? Zeiss, it's a German company. Well, it all started way back, way back. The planar design itself was produced by Dr. Paul Rudolph, who joined the Zeiss family, Carl Zeiss family, back in 1890. 1890. That was a while ago, huh?
9.
Yeah, it was a little before Daddy's time, anyway. And Dr. Rudolph, nothing to do with the red-nosed reindeer.
Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer.
But he ended up coming up with this design in 1896. So it's been around a while. It's been copied by many. And the actual name planar came about because the design results in a very flat focal plane. Planar, plane. You see the connection there, huh? Well, anyway. So that's where that came from. And it was produced, throughout the history of Carl Zeiss Company until they became just Zeiss in 2013. They dropped Carl out of the picture, even though he died in 1888. So it's been a while since Carl's been around, so I don't think he's missing his first name very much. Hey, lovely binoculars. Hey, Zeiss makes binoculars too. Very good. Not that we're talking about binoculars today. So, what could we talk about with this lens? Well, let's first get through the specs. 6 elements in 5 groups. It's been that way ever since the dawn of time, the dawn of Mr. Rudolph's design. Its close focus is nothing to get all excited about. It's only a meter, so that's about as close as we can get before you go out of focus, mister. So no great focus or close-ups on Dylan, even though we can still, whatever, zoom in. The aperture blades, there's 8 of them. The thing with this particular model, is that they're 8 straight blades. And you know what that means, right? When you start to stop down, F2, 2.8, getting towards 4, the resulting out of focus area, the bokeh balls, are no longer round. They produce what is known in the industry as ninja stars. And we know what ninja stars are for, right? Yeah. So anyway, once you get to F4 though, they get back to the circular, and they are that way from that point on. It's a heavy sucker, 595 grams. Pretty heavy. Bonk. You hear that?
That was my skull.
Wow. Yeah, I can imagine you get hit in the head with that sucker, huh? That could put you out. So it could be a self-defense tool as well. If somebody's trying to mug you for your camera equipment, just nail him in the head with that thing. Anyway, it's designed for portraitures, or portrait shooting. It's great for that. It has, because it's also 1.4 aperture, it's great for low light. And Zeiss has a reputation for great colors and whatever. So in low light situation, it can still capture those capture that color in low light situation. So remember, there's also 2 versions of this lens. One made in Germany, one made in Japan. So if you have what I have here, the model is the AE. AEG is Germany, AEJ is Japan. Wow, some pretty funky math there, huh?
I'm a very stable genius.
But that's not what I mean by 2 versions. There's also an MM version, which multi-mode is what that stands for. Now AE is designed for aperture priority, for those talking in modern camera terms. And MM would be shutter priority or program priority. So the MM gives you more options in that regard. But since they are manual focus lenses, I don't really think it really matters all that much. So AE is the one I have. The way to tell the difference physically by looking at them is the MM version has, you know, your aperture stops go from 1.4 to f16. On the MM version, the M16 on the aperture ring is green colored, so it's pretty obvious when you see it. You know you have an MM version. And when I talk about version, not virgin, yeah.
Shit.
Virgin, yeah. And because it's got such a large front element, it does have a tendency for flaring. You know what flaring's all about, huh?
Dancing down the street and I don't know, wearing a rainbow flag.
And also chromatic aberrations under, you know, bright backgrounds and whatnot. If you're shooting something against a bright background, you're liable to get color or chromatic aberration. Ew! That can be fixed in post, but and generally this is shooting wide open, you know, 1.4 and 2 and whatnot. But the way to counter that is use a hood. Use a hood, right? Or an ND filter, or both. Why not? The particular hood that I have is a metal hood made by Zeiss, and it's called hood number 5. It's fairly big. That's it up here, and it's a screw. It screws in. It's a 67 millimeter thread on the front. So it screws into the to the front of the lens, the end of the barrel, and it's quite a deep hood, so that increases contrast greatly in that regard, and it just keeps out all that stray light. 1.4 is sharp, but not sharp. Sharp.
Same, but different.
But for portraiture, it's sharp. Because if you stop down to 2.8-ish, then it starts to really get sharp. And then for portraiture, again, people can complain going, oh my God, you got how many pimples you got on your face, or you see the blackheads on his nose, or oh my God, he's got a stray hair growing out of the center of his forehead. Whatever. So 1.4, its sharp softness is something to actually be sought after for portrait shooters in that regard. So anyway, what else can we talk about? It's got, like, again, it's a Zeiss design, so great color, great contrast. It's got that 3D pop that everybody always loves, right? As you can see, I'm also a Leica shooter, and they share that same characteristic. You know, there's a lot of Zeiss lenses that are produced by Cosina that a lot of Leica shooters like. They like on their Leica. They like on their Leica. And again, I don't have any, but just from hearing what other people say about it, Cosina does a fairly good job with their Zeiss lenses. You want to avoid the extreme ends of the aperture, you know, the f11 through f16. You know, your sharpness falls off and everything's kind of, but then again, an 85 millimeter isn't designed for long distance stuff anyway. It's not, you know, it's not your greatest landscape lens, but otherwise it sucks, right?
It actually really sucks.
So it's best for portraiture, and, you know, open up that aperture, let that glass sing, right? So it's great bang for the buck. I mean, I got mine for $400. It's kind of average. You know, they can get a little higher than that depending on the condition and whatnot. But this was local. You know, one of the guys here in Ho Chi Minh City had one for sale, so I bought it, and I've been happy with it. So, with that said, normally what I do to give you an idea of what it looks like or what it could do from here, I'm just under 2 meters from the camera. So generally, what I do is I get you a shot of my Canon M50 which is recording this video, this camera talk. And, oops.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, I took a picture of the books. I get to try to focus in on the nameplate on the end of the 15 to 45 EFM lens to see how sharp I can get it from here. So let's do that. Right. Oop, right past it. Right there. Looks good. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was at 1.4. Let's go to, what do I normally do? 5.6, just to show you the difference. And it's just as sharp right there. Right? No shifting. 1, 2, 3. All right, so that was 1.4 and 5.6. That's right. What do you think? Does it look good from there? I think so too. So, how about we give you some, excuse me. Are you okay? Yeah, didn't frighten you with that. Some shots of Dylan using this lens that we just took a minute ago before starting our camera talk. So here's Dylan at 1.4. So what do you think? Handsome little man? Sure. That's what your girlfriends all say, right? Here's Dylan at, what did I do with the other one? Oh, F4. Should have done 5.6, but I did F4 for some reason. Probably because that's what I was thinking when the bokeh balls start to round out again. So here's Dylan at F4.
So.
So what do you think about that one? You look good there too? All right, so what else can we say? Can we recommend they buy this lens?
No.
No, you don't want them to buy this lens?
No. No. Mm-mm.
Why not? Don't you like it? Oh, you changed your mind to yes? Boy, you've been hanging around your mom too long with this yes and no thing. Make up your mind.
No way.
So yes,
Says.
sounds like a good yes. All right. So yes, we can recommend it. Again, there are better lenses out there, you know, whatnot. But hey, for $400, or if you can get it even less, why not, right? Right. So, so that's it about the lens. How about we talk about our photo editing software? That's right, Luminar, Luminar AI, and Luminar Neo. Now, what is that? Well, Luminar is you've heard of Lightroom, you've heard of Capture One, you know, Photoshop, and so forth and so on. Well, Luminar is another photo editing software out there that we use. And there's, their main product anyway is Luminar Neo. Luminar Neo is a combination of AI and Luminar 4. So Luminar Neo is full of AI. What is AI?
Hi.
You want to tell us what AI is? All right. What's the definition of AI? Not definition, but the acronym AI. What does it stand for? 1, 2, 3.
No.
Oh, always screwing around, mister. AI is not that. It's artificial intelligence. That's right. And artificial intelligence makes your job a lot easier because that way you don't have to spend so much time on each individual photo trying to fix this and fix that when you have certain buttons. Let's say spot and dust removal, power line removal, background removal, all of those things. A click of a button, and it analyzes your photo, identifies that particular item, whether it's a spot or whether it's a power line, or you want to get rid of the background. It analyzes it and gets rid of it for you. How cool is that? Saves you plenty of time. You don't have to mask this and brush that, you know. So anyway, I like it. Speeds up my flow. Anything that speeds up my flow makes Dr. Scott a happy camper. All right. Besides all that stuff, why else should they consider getting Luminar? Well, a couple of reasons. One, it's produced by a company named Skylum, who is located in Ukraine, and everybody knows what's going on there. Boo, Mr. Putin. The other reason is that it's economical. It's what, $90? We checked that yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, it's $90. $90. That's pretty economical. You want to save $10? They think they want to save $10? Everybody wants to save $10, so why not get it for $80 instead of 90, right? Click below. There's a link in the description below. Click below and it'll take you to their website. If it's through our link, then it'll automatically deduct that $10 and you can buy it for $80. And it's yours for life. There's no yearly subscriptions. They do have these extensions you can buy, which are add-ons to it, but hey, the standalone works for me, so I'm not even interested in buying anything else. Now, the pros out there, people using these for fashion magazines and travel websites and things like that, may want to spend an extra few bucks on some additional sharpening or other fancy schmancy AI stuff. But for us, it works just fine. And what do they do with that $10 that they let people have? Well, they give it to us. Yeah, that's right, they give it to us. And what do they call that when they give you something for doing something? That's called a kickback. Yay! Kickback, yeah. And, you know, that $10 kickback may not seem like a lot, but if you save up your $10 and maybe someone else buys one, now you have $20. And then maybe somebody else buys one, you have $30. What are you going to do with that money?
What?
Oh, yes.
Are you going to share it with Daddy?
Daddy.
Are you going to share it with Mommy? Yeah? You going to share it with us all? Well, you've become such a wonderful young lad. You know, for the last 50 videos, you kept saying, no, I'm not going to share it with anybody. Share it with your girlfriends. Yeah. You got to be careful with that. Don't give girls your money. They'll just come back for more. Then you're what's called a sugar daddy.
Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So don't be anybody's sugar daddy, mister. Anyway, other than that, what else can we tell you? How about we get people to support our channel?
What?
Yeah, and what do? Subscribe. That's right. How about this one? Subscribe. How about this one and this one? Subscribe. That's right. Besides subscribers, what else does YouTube like? They like the thumbs up. Yes, they do. They like the thumbs up. Yes! Give us a thumbs up. We'll give you a taste of the thumbs up girls. Are you ready? Thumbs up. Do 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 do. Thumbs up. All right. Those are his. That's why he's being all defensive about that. Stop sharing my thumbs up girls with the other people. They're all for me, you greedy little bastard. So, other than that, who are we? No, I'm Dr. Scott. You're Dylan.
I'm Mike Wallace.
I'm Morley Safer. I'm Ed Bradley.
And I'm Jim Carrey.
I'm Dr. Scott. And together we are all Modesty Photography. Yeah. And at Modesty Photography, we're here to talk about tips and tricks about photography, vintage lenses, vintage cameras, camera systems, modern lenses, tips and tricks and techniques, and just blah, 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 blah.
Papa.
Yeah, you're getting good at blah, 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 let me tell you.
Oh.
So why should people come back?
Why?
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 Because you belong here. That's right. And where do they belong, mister? What's the name of this show? This was Camera Talk with Dr. Scott and Dylan. Easy, mister. Get all wild and crazy about Dylan. So how about we thank them?
Okay.
You want to thank them? All right. Thanks for dropping by.
Dad.
Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. How about you sit in the middle? Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for buying a copy of Luminar through our link. Thank you for supporting Dylan. Thank you for supporting Dr. Scott. And thank you for just being you. Good boy. All right, so you think that's about it? Okay, so let's say bye-bye. 1, 2, 3. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Here I am,